Hi everyone, Trev from Coiltek here, and today I'm going to have a quick chat with Gerry from Gerry's Detectors in Idaho, USA. We're going to have a chat about some of the NOX coils that we've released. Today we're going to focus a little bit more on the 14x9 elliptical NOX coil, which is going to be a perfect fit for some different sort of opportunities out in the world. Hey Gerry, how you going, and how's things over in Idaho?
Oh, we finally hit 70 degrees, Trevor. We got a hot spell going on.
It's shorts and t-shirts then, is it, from now on?
Well, I don't know about that. We still have quite a bit of snow, and my wife put some flowers out in the garden, and they got frost and they died. So we got to wait a few more weeks.
Yeah, a few more weeks. I guess sometimes the seasons can extend out a bit. I know we're actually getting a very late heat wave here in Adelaide, getting 30 degrees. So that'd be sort of high 80s, low 90s, I think, around there. So, which is quite hot for April here, but, you guys are heading into that summer. So that means possibly gold detecting season soon.
Oh, it's coming. Yeah, I can't wait. It's coming. Yes, sir.
We really do appreciate you having a chat with me today about these new NOX coils. We fortunately got you a few NOX coils a few weeks ago to give them a bit of a run and a check out. How have you found them so far?
That's an understatement, Trevor. I have been waiting and waiting patiently, and we know that COVID and a few other things have been affecting them. But you got to understand, I'm a metal detector junkie. Okay, I've been doing this almost my whole life for 45 years. A coil to a metal detector is like different treads to your truck.
Yep.
And if you want to do certain things with that and get better performance and better results, you better have some more coils. If you have one coil, you're going to get one results.
And that's a good point. I mean, people don't have a toolbox in their sheds or their garages with one tool in there that's going to do everything. They need to have different tools for different things. So that's essentially what these are, is a metal detectorist's tool, a different tool for different ground, different coils, do different things.
Most certainly.
So with the 14x9, obviously this is the medium-sized coil that we've released. It's quite a robust coil. It's quite strong with the design. How have you found that so far?
It's definitely a nice, robust coil, but I think there's a reason for it. A lot of people say, well, that's a little bit of a heavy coil, and especially on the Equinox. The Equinox is an extremely lightweight machine.
True.
But you got to think of outside the box. When are you going to run this coil, and what benefits is this coil going to do? And I'll be happy to share those with you as time goes on. Yes, sir. But there's reason for this, and we're going to talk about it today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having another option and understanding where it may be best suited is certainly going to give people a bit of an eye opener, because like you said before, the one coil option is good to get started, but as you get into your detecting a little bit more and you start to want a little bit more from stuff, that's where you need to really get that different coil. So, performance ability with the 14x9, let's get into that. What have you found with it so far? And how do you think this will perform in some of those locations that you detect?
So the locations that I've used this as well was one of the older sites just outside of town before we get too high in the mountains. And what we have is we have a lot of tall grass that has dried up over the winter, and it's fairly dead, and it easily, a lighter coil, you can't get it down in there. You're losing depth. With this coil, you're going to be able, because it's a little more robust and heavier. It knocks that grass down so I can hunt those areas and get the depth and the performance that I wanted. The other thing I noticed about this coil, the MineLab stock coil, great, 11-inch round. This is a 14x9. So I'm gaining 3 inches. I'm gaining 3 inches more of ground coverage per sweep over the stock coil with this coil right here. What I want to do with this coil right here, because I haven't got to, because I do a lot of different styles of metal detecting. In England, we hunt stubble. Stubble is, I don't know exactly, wheat, corn, whatever it is, and it's usually about 4 to 6, 8 inches, and it sticks up.
That's where they've cut it off, is it? Like that, where they've cut off the main plant, and that's what's left in the ground.
Yes, yeah. And everything's cut level. You need a heavier coil to knock that stuff down as you're sweeping across. That heavier coil is going to knock that stuff down and be able to hunt. Whereas if you had the stock coil, oh, it's beautiful and light, it's not going to do as well in that situation. No, sir.
Yeah. And so, with that ability to sort of knock those down, obviously, there's a little bit of sideways force there. And people have always been a little bit nervous about wing designs on coils because, we've heard some commentary around that with the Minelab coils, and they're strong, but they can still, have some issues. How have you found the wing design on the 14x9?
I can tell you guys have built this part up quite a bit here. And the other thing is in the sides here, this is a lot more thicker than the Minelab coil. And I think, well, heck, Coiltek doesn't make metal detectors. They design coils. So you've taken all the good stuff that was out there and you've made it better. Yeah. So this part right here looks a lot more sturdier, and definitely this through here is a lot more sturdier. Time will tell.
The actual 14x9 shape and design has been the same coil that we've had on the CTX. So the housings and the plastics are utilized from the same mold. And we've rarely seen any. I think over time, we've only ever had 1 or 2 wings that we've heard of that have broken. So that's a very positive thing. People can be a bit reassured that they're going to be nice and strong for them out in the field. So when you are pushing through that stubble or grass, you can certainly be, pretty confident that that coil wing design is not going to have any damage to it. Like you said, the coverage and a little bit longer, that's going to be a really good option for people either in beaches or parks and playgrounds too.
Most certainly. So there again, if you're an urban school or park hunter, you're gaining 3 extra inches. The 11 inch is coming, well, flip this over. The 11 inch is coming to about right here. So we're gaining 3 extra inches per sweep. You're more targets per hour, more targets per day, just with this coil alone. All right. You didn't have to buy another metal detector. All you did was get a coil with more ground coverage. And if you're a water hunter, a beach hunter, I don't know if you can go back and look, but I was a big fan of the Minelab CTX 3030. When I got my hands on that 14x9 and I took that sucker down to the Caribbean, I really kicked butt with it.
You sure did.
I had more ground coverage per sweep than my stock coil. But not only that, here's something most people don't understand right here with this coil. Yes, it's a little more robust and heavier coil, Trevor. When I'm in the ocean, and I'm out there sweeping in water up to my chest or my belly or whatever it may be, my chin, those waves are moving me around. And when I get that hit that I want, that good low tone where that gold ring is, I don't want the coil to get off of it. A lighter coil, the movement of the waves in the water moves my coil. Trust me, I want to keep that coil on it. And this coil that's a little bit heavier allows me to keep it there easier, so I can pinpoint with my scoop much faster. The other thing is, when you're hunting in water, this coil that's a little bit heavier, it's going to stay on the ground, so you're getting optimum depth and sensitivity for your bigger, heavier gold rings. That's why you made it.
Yeah. No, well, we've seen some of the gold rings with the CTX that you found. You can have a look at Gerry's Detectors Facebook page as well. He's got plenty of good photos and images up there. But yeah, that was a very, very cool haul of rings and jewelry and things that you got from the Caribbean there. I remember seeing them. Your fingers were loaded up with all the rings.
They were.
Yeah. So, hopefully this one can do something similar for you, and we'll get another good photo of 2 hands worth of rings, this next one, and lots of coins and treasure. But, like you're saying, being a bit more robust, it can knock down those little sand mounds, the ripples as well when you're on the dry
Yep.
sand and push through nicely. And being elliptical, it should be still able to get amongst the trash pretty good. How do you think that'll go with the elliptical shape?
So being that it's 9 inches across is going to outperform an 11-inch round in semi-trashy areas, most certainly.
Yeah.
I want to take this for the beach because of the ground coverage.
Yes.
Now, if I am at a pier, I do get that little bit narrower pattern, and I can get closer to areas where there's more iron with this coil because of the target separation, kind of like with the 10-inch ellipse.
The elliptical coils do have that benefit for separation and pinpointing ability compared to the round.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. And then here again, my heel-toe method. I'm getting my hit, beep, 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 beep. And then as I come down, as soon as it stops, right here, that's your hot spot.
That's where the windings cross over in the coils. So it's like you've said before, right down the center of that coil is its most sensitive area where it responds to. You can use pinpoint mode with the detectors. Have you tried that, just going into standard pinpoint?
Oh, yeah. Realize all coils, if it's near the surface, you're going to get hits on all sides. But what you have to do is you lift the coil a couple inches off the target, and then it starts zeroing in. And then once you're in the pinpoint all metal mode, that's your sweet spot right there.
Yeah, and you're right. When the target's right on the surface, you can get the triple beat because it's hitting the windings on the outer perimeter as well as the center. So it can go beep, 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 beep. And that means you're really, really close, like within 2 inches of a coin, which is like a quarter size or a 20-cent piece size or a euro dollar size. It is very close. So like if you back off a little bit, and like Gerry said, if your target's here, you just back off a little bit, come behind it, and then work your way up to it. You'll start to get used to where that pinpoint location is on the coil, because each coil has its own little hot spot. Depending on the size and shape. So with the stubble and the open fields where you go, have you had much of a chance to swing this one in open fields at the moment? And how are you finding the depth capability of this coil? What are you expecting with it?
I haven't hunted any open parks yet with it. I'm not really a big time park hunter when it comes to depth. I hunt parks when I'm looking for modern lost jewelry and rings. I get that call quite a bit. And there again, I want the extra ground coverage of this coil for that purpose. But as far as depth, I feel it's going to be pretty comparative to the stock coil depth-wise. I'm not going to say you're going to gain a lot of depth. You might gain a little bit of sensitivity because it's a little narrower, but you're gaining that extra ground coverage per sweep. That's what I'm after with this coil. Yes, sir.
Because there's plenty of beach out there and plenty of parks, isn't there? And with the smaller coils, you can tend to want to go a little bit sort of faster, and maybe you're walking too fast, so you're going to zigzag along the way, where the bigger coil is going to just overlap that little bit better and try and not miss anything. How have you found the balance with the detector? It is a bit heavier, but the balance with the detector, how's that been going for you?
If you're a taller person, you're going to feel there is a little bit of toe heaviness on this coil. You're going to notice that, especially if you have the coil shaft extended way out there. So if you want, shorten your shaft up a little bit and get the coil closer to the front of your toes, and maybe 6-8 inches in front of your toes. And that'll take care of that little bit of offset in weight. Having a coil that's a faster pinpointer that covers more ground, that's a little heavier, so I can keep it on the ground more in stubble in England or in grasses. That gives me more depth, and that's what I want. The stock coil in those situations, it's too light. I'm going to lose the depth. So this heavier, robust coil is going to make up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you do get a bit more of a chance with the 14x9, where's one of the first places you're going to take this coil to have a hunt with?
Well, me personally, I'm going to take it down to Cancun as soon as the borders open. We've got a ban on that right now, going down there. We're allowed to go there, but the government's saying you're on your own. So It probably won't be until later this fall that I'll get to go down there. And because there again, I like to hunt in the water. I like a coil that's going to give me more ground coverage per sweep. And I want to keep my coil on the bottom. I want to keep it on the bottom to get optimum depth. That's where the big gold rings are going to be down deeper. And I kicked butt last time with this exact size coil on my 30-30, and I'm expecting to kick butt this time with my Equinox.
Do you reckon this might be a good coil for gold hunting as well? How would you find, how would you set this one up if you were to take it into the gold fields?
If I was to take this into the gold fields, I would definitely want a coil that's going to definitely give more depth and ground coverage. I'm not going to say, because I haven't done it yet, and you know me, I'm not going to say it's going to give you more depth until I actually do it.
Correct.
The bigger coil will give me more ground coverage. That is a plus. The 14x9 being 9 wide, I don't know if it's going to gain anything. It might gain on sensitivity on smaller gold over the stock coil, but it's yet to be seen, Trevor. I haven't got to the gold fields yet, so I don't want to. I know what I want to do, but I don't know what it can do yet.
Yeah, that's right, and that'll come over this next season. I think once we get 6 to 9 months old with these coils, they've been out in the field a lot more. People have tried them in their different locations around the world. We'll certainly get a few more options and commentary around that to see how they actually perform. So far, we've seen some really good coins and treasures come out through Europe with the 14x9. People are really jumping on that, and we thought it would be a far lower seller than what it is actually, but people really do like that 14x9 size. It's a really good option. Like you're saying, it's very similar, I would expect, also to the stock 11 inch as far as depth goes, but you're more than likely going to gain a bit of sensitivity and pinpointing ability with this because it's elliptical shape. So
yeah, the elliptical gives the pinpointing most certainly, and then the extra ground coverage. That's always a bonus when you're nugget hunting.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with this 14x9 coil, will definitely be a good option. We've talked before about having different options for your detector. Looks like this 14x9 coil is probably going to be better suited to those stubble fields, where you can push through some undergrowth, and water hunting and dry sand, which is what we thought this coil will be better suited to. But your streams and rivers or lakes in there, you get to go out in those areas once it warms up a little bit and maybe get this coil in that water?
We probably will. It's just a matter of dead water. That what I see this gaining me in dead water. When I say dead water, it's not moving. It's just a lake. Is the extra ground coverage. Anytime I can gain 3 more inches per sweep when I'm out in the lake trying to find that ring, that's a plus. Just like if I was hunting a soccer field and I get a phone call, and if I only had the stock coil and the 14x9 to choose from, I'm going to grab the 14x9. If it's in the water to get more ground coverage, or if it's in a soccer field to try to find that ring. Even if I'm hunting old coins, a stock coil is only 11 inches. I'm gaining extra with this. So there's a plus to that.
And it's about using the right coil at the right time for the right conditions, that's for sure. So having these other options out there's now 6 coils available for the Equinox, and hopefully one will cover a situation that you encounter, whether it's beach, parks, mountainous ranges, rocky areas, overgrown areas. There should be a coil out there to do that'll work for you.
The other thing is when I'm in stubble, or I'm in taller grass, or I am in water, and I get that target that's down in a crevice somewhere, here again, we have that elliptical shape that I can get that toe down in there. Yes. And being that it's a double D design, it's going to hit right there. So when that gold ring or nugget is stuck down in a crevice and I can't see it, but my detector can hear it, a round coil will not do as well as an elliptical, and it doesn't pinpoint as fast and easy as elliptical on this So you're in stubble and you're pushing down and you get that hit, get that nose right down in there. Same when I'm hunting in the water in an ocean along some rocks or a reef, get that baby right down in there, and a rounded coil, it just doesn't get in the crevices easy.
No, that's a very valid point, because that elliptical shape gives you that maneuverability and that ability to get into those crevices. And a lot of the stuff hides in those crevices, especially gold. I mean, you've found plenty of gold in your time, and you'd know exactly that the gold likes hiding away and trying to not be found.
So I post quite a bit on Facebook. It's Gerry McMullen, Gerry with a G as in gold. Just remember, G has gold, Gerry has gold. Gerry McMullen, McMullen. And metal detecting is my life. It's my passion. We post on there quite a bit. And then some of the sites, hey, shout out to Steve Herzbach, detectorprospector.com. You'll see me on there quite a bit answering questions to people, and I'm going to be sharing some of my finds on there as well.
Yeah, we've seen that already. We really do appreciate you getting out there and sharing your knowledge. I mean, you know, there's a thirst for knowledge out there in the detecting community, and I think people like yourself that are more than willing and happy to get out there and you know, share your experiences can really help people understand what the detectors and the coils are doing. It's not just a matter of swinging them blindly and digging holes. There's a lot of information those detectors are coming back with, and it's about interpretation of all of that as well. So yeah, we really do appreciate it. Check out Gerry's pages there and all the information that you can find out in the public forums. There's plenty of information coming out about these NOX coils. We do appreciate your time, Gerry, and we'll catch with you next time.